The Paragon of Man, Smoke Pit Fairy Tales Part 3, Chapter 16, The Devil is Beating His Wife. We were down the other side of Big Bear Mountain out of the forest, but not yet to the desert. Bundles of trees lined the landscape, surrounded by rocky hills. We'd taken it slow, navigating away from town, trying to stay on track. The sun was starting to fall under the crests. We wanted to be in the desert before dusk, but it didn't look like that was going to happen. The Jeep was on the side of the road, leaning to the left. I don't know what I'd hit, but the driver's side front tire popped. Half of our stuff was piled next to the vehicle because we'd accidentally put the jack and lug wrench in the middle of our things. I pumped the Jeep up and started to unscrew the lugs. Yeah, great timing, right? I twisted the cross wrench.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Penelope rolled her eyes as she leaned against the door with my M14 in her hands. Thom and Ginny stood by the grill looking into the trees.
How much longer do you think it'll be?
Thom asked as he and Ginny stood by the grill looking into the trees. It shouldn't be more than a few minutes. I couldn't get one of the lugs to budge. I put the wrench on it, stood up, and pried it with my foot. It spun. I took the last nut and placed it on the fender with the others. I carried the wheel to the back of the Jeep and started taking the spare off the rear.
Great.
I heard Ginny groan from the front. "What's up?" I hollered, still pulling the lugs off the spare.
It's starting to rain.
I sighed and pulled the tire down. I rolled it to the front and placed it on the wheel. I should probably head back then.
All the way back up the mountain.
Do you want to stay out here in the rain? Penelope thought for a second. She squinted with one eye and scanned the ground.
Well, we have tents. We can camp out.
Or we could keep driving.
Yeah, we could, but it's going to be dark soon. I mean, it's starting to rain and we don't know where we're going, and we'd be wasting gas just driving with no direction. There aren't any damn signs around here. I twisted the last lug into place, but we can vote. A shot rang out over our heads. I dropped the wrench and tackled Penelope. She let out a groan when we hit the dirt. "Stay low, keep your head down." I took the M14 and started scanning the area. Another round flew by. It sounded like it was coming from up the hill. Thom and Ginny scurried over to our side of the Jeep and ducked. Penelope put her back to the rear tire and pulled out her pistol. I tried looking through cracks in the Jeep's body up the hill to see where the shooter was.
Well, this is just fucking great, isn't it?
Yep. I continued looking, but he's not that good of a shot. If I can figure out where he is, I can take him out. This round's been way too high.
"All right, drop your guns,"
a voice ordered from behind us. I looked over my shoulder to see 10 people in a semicircle standing on the other side of the trail. Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I looked at Penelope, Ginny, and Thom and nodded my head. We placed our weapons on the ground, raised our hands, and slowly stood up to face them. The rain started to fall heavier, but the sun still shined.
"That's right. Nice and easy."
The leader pointed his pistol at us. He was the only one of them with a firearm. One of the others had a cheaply produced metal bow. The rest had knives, bats, and clubs. 3 were fluorescent, the others human. They were all in various states of dress, but a stick-figure drawing of a man with 6 arms on their shirts put them in uniform. Yeah, I guess this is who Steve was warning us about. I still had my 1911 holstered on my belt, covered by my jacket. I just needed an opportunity to pull it. I considered pulling it when he pointed his weapon at me. I could take that shot. Then I considered that the sniper probably wasn't all that bad of a shot after all and was intentionally missing us. The guy with the gun was a tall Virescent with broad shoulders and slicked back black hair. He waved the pistol to the other side of the road.
"Get over there and down on your knees."
We begrudgingly followed the order. Thom was stone-faced and Ginny had begun to shake and sob. Penelope looked frustrated more than anything else. The queen of the resting bitch face.
So what do you want?
"Shut up,"
one of the goons barked. The leader kept his weapon pointed at us and motioned his head at the Jeep. The rest of them started pulling off our stuff.
"Dump their shit. We'll only need to take the valuable stuff. The rest we'll leave here."
But what about some of the other shit? We can do that.
One of the other henchmen replied.
"If you want to carry it back, you can. But not all of us are going to fit in the car."
Holy shit.
One of the goons who was rifling through the Jeep hopped out.
Hey, there's a fuck ton of gold in here.
"Well, we lucked the fuck out."
The leader turned his face up the hills and whistled. The sniper up behind the rock stood up.
"Go get the bounty hunter. Tell him we got him."
The sniper slung his rifle and ran up over the hill. The rain started to storm down on us, but the sunshine still peeked down in spots. When the shooter had disappeared, I thought, that simplifies things. I reassessed everyone's position. There was only one of them behind us, and all he had was a baseball bat. The leader kept watch on us, and going through our things distracted the rest of them. None of them even bothered to pick up the guns yet. The goon with Penelope's money brought the box up to the leader.
Check it out, man.
The boss gazed at the yellow glowing gold in the sunlight. His eyes grew wide.
That's a lot. We can't let the others know about this. This is just ours.
Totally.
His eyes were fixed on the riches.
We're never going to end.
Before he could finish the sentence, I seized the opportunity to pull my pistol and splatter his brains onto the henchman's face. Thom, Ginny, and Penelope dove back to the road behind the rocks behind us. Before the henchman realized what had happened, I put 2 rounds in his chest. Half the guys in the jeep dove towards our guns on the ground. Before they could get close, their blood was in the dirt. A few tried to run off into the hills. I fired a few rounds, missed. The slide locked to the rear. I holstered the 1911 and picked up the M14. I shot the last 3 in the back as they fled. Penelope, Ginny, and Thom sprinted for their weapons. I ran up to the bandits crawling on the ground. I put a round in 2 of their heads, then reloaded the pistol. The third and last of them was shot around the liver. He held his hands over the wound and panted broken prayers and curses. I grabbed him by the hair and started dragging him back to the truck.
Fuck you!
He punched me in the back of the knee. I buckled over but recovered before I fell. Fuck me? Fuck you! I shot through his hand. He screamed and pulled back his wounded appendage, cradling it in the other arm. I grabbed his foot and drug him the rest of the way to the jeep. Thom had piled the others in the middle of the street.
I dug through their pockets. I didn't find much.
That's great. You can grab me some rope?
Yeah.
Thom produced the paracord from the jeep. Penelope and Ginny started packing our things back into the vehicle. I slung my rifle, drew my 1911, then pulled the bandit to the opposite side of the road and leaned him against a fallen log. Who are you, and what the fuck are you trying to do? He had short sandy hair and a scrappy patched beard. He couldn't have been older than 25.
I already said, fuck you.
I was already irate, and his demeanor did not help my patience. I grabbed his good wrist and put my pistol to his pinky and shot it off. He screamed and tried to get up. I headbutted him and shot him in the kneecap. He howled again in pain. I put the barrel to his balls.
Wait.
You want to start fucking talking? He tried to hold in the anguish.
Yeah, man, just don't fucking shoot me again.
Tears painted his face. Who are you people?
We're part of Six Arm Clan.
And you're just out marauding? Thom brought the cord. Tie his arms to the tree. I told Thom without taking my eyes off the bandit. You fight him, you lose your nuts. The bandit shook his head and Thom secured him to the wood. Now answer my damn question.
You're in our territory, man.
You think I give a fuck?
Sorry.
Holding a gun to my wife is something you think can be fucking excused by fucking saying you're goddamn sorry? He shook his head frantically. Fear for his life showed in his eyes.
Please, don't kill me, man.
We'll fucking see. What was that shit about a bounty hunter?
There's a guy who came to our town a couple nights ago looking for 2 humans and 2 Viasants in a blue jeep. He said he'd pay us to bring them back to him alive and we could keep everything we found on them. He said you guys killed a lot of people up in Julian or Ramona or somewhere.
That's fucking great. Where was he from? Who does he work for?
I don't fucking know.
Penelope came up over my shoulder and dug the barrel of her single-action army into the wound in the bandit's liver.
He asked you a fucking question, cunt.
Whoa, hey, chill out. I pulled Penelope back and wrapped my arm around her shoulder. Baby, I got this. I tried to calm her down by walking her away.
No, Hank, fuck this guy.
She snarled and jerked her shoulder from under my arm. Babe, let me handle this. I holstered my pistol and raised my hands to show her my palms. This isn't something you need to do. Penelope huffed with a grimace.
Fine.
She shook her head and went to brood in the jeep. I went and kneeled beside the bandit. Thom stood behind him with his arms crossed.
Keep that crazy bitch away from me.
A boiling rage filled my body. I reached into my pocket, grabbed his head and cut off one of his ears with my jeep keys. He screamed and I punched him in the jaw to shut him up. I grabbed his face and leaned in. You insult my wife again and I'll rip your dick off, sew it to your mouth, and eat your fucking limbs and nail the rest of you to a fucking tree. He shot his eyes to the ground. I jerked him by the hair. Do you fucking understand me?
Yes.
He winced, closed his eyes, and turned his head away. Now, who's this bounty hunter?
I swear to God, I don't know his name. He's Viasant, blonde, short hair, trimmed beard, carries a couple daggers and pistols, wears a brown leather jacket.
Was it just him or a group?
It was just him.
How long's it gonna be before he gets here?
I know. Maybe half an hour.
Is he bringing more of your fucking friends with him? He nodded his head and bit his lips, trying not to cry out in pain. I turned to the other three. Thom, finish up the lugs on the wheel. You two strap down the packs. I stuck my finger in the bandit's chest. Listen to me. I grabbed his head and jerked his face towards me. Look me in the fucking eyes. He complied. You tell whoever shows back up here that if I so much as smell someone chasing me, I'll crucify everyone within a 100-mile radius. I took the length of rope from the back of the Jeep and hastily tied it around the necks of the dead bandits on the street. I threw the end of the rope over the tree branch and fixed that end to my trailer hitch. We all loaded into the Jeep and I pulled the lot of them until they were all hanging from the same noose. Thom and I got out and anchored the line to another nearby tree. Ginny watched Thom and me in horror. Penelope was pretty indifferent. And then we hit the road.
So returning to Big Bear is not an option.
Not today, babe.
Was that really necessary?
Probably not, but they'll be less likely to keep coming after us.
Hopefully the rain throws them off a little bit.
Yeah, but isn't the reason they're after us because of killing all those people? This is just going to add to it.
Ginny protested.
It's not like those TVs or radios. As long as we keep moving, we'll travel fast and word about us will.
Thom looked over his box of piglets and chicks. Ahead of us was a vehicle stopped in the road. I couldn't make out what it was through the rain, but the lights were pointed straight at us. Y'all see that?
Yup.
I pulled the Jeep off the road, turned off the lights, stopped it just enough to put it in four-wheel drive, and started weaving through the trees. We passed the vehicle about 50 yards into the forest. I didn't hear the bullets. The storm drowned out the sound, but I saw the muzzle flashes. They were to our left. Thom unzipped the side of the soft top and started shooting at the car. The vehicle drove straight at us from the side. I drove as fast as I could, weaving through the terrain, trying not to crash into anything. Thom and the other passenger exchanged fire until its windshield shattered and it drove grill first into a tree.
I got him!
I slowed the Jeep to a halt and looked back. You two stay here. Thom, come with me. I grabbed the M14 and we hopped out of the Jeep. We walked up to the other vehicle with our muzzles at the ready. The driver stumbled out of the vehicle. I didn't see his face. I just saw the gun in his hand. I fired 3 rounds into his chest and he fell to the dirt. I started to search the inside of the vehicle with my rifle up, but before I could look for anything, I saw the passenger. It was Samantha from the inn. Confusion and a slight hint of dread fell over me. I looked down at the driver. It was Steve. The fuck were you doing? Samantha was leaning over the dash. The glass from the windshield had cut her skin up bad. She looked up at Thom and me.
As soon as you left, a bounty hunter came in looking for you. We tried to chase after you and warn you, but we couldn't find you, so we camped out waiting to see you.
Then why'd you shoot at us?
We thought you were 6-armed bandits. We couldn't see in the rain.
I slung my rifle and rubbed my forehead. I couldn't honestly say that I was sad, just more vexed than anything. All right, well, let's get you out of there.
No, just leave me here.
I looked at Thom. Okay, we made our way back to the Jeep. As soon as I put my hand on the door handle, I heard one shot. I ducked, then looked back at Steve's car. Samantha had put a bullet in her own skull. Let's get the fuck out of here. Yo, what up, peeps? That was the fucking way to start this. Anyway, thank you for listening to another chapter or so to the Paragon of Man, Smoking Fairy Tales Part 3, The Devil's Beat His Wife. I'd like to thank the wonderful Diane Spencer for playing Penelope and Samantha. Ryan, History Daddy Day, playing, we played Thom and one of the henchmen. William Greeson III playing the bandit leader. Nicholas Schulte playing one of the goons. And Azalandra Danstar playing Ginny. But yeah, we're moving right along with this one. So I'd like to thank everyone who's gotten a war chest, which is the first 6 of these books, and a custom painted ammo can. It's got stickers and cards and a patch and all that. I'm gonna start making a video for each one of those that goes out, and I'll put it like in my shorts section instead of here in the video. I mean, they might end up here in the actual main video too, but they'll primarily be over there in shorts, but that's a thing. But and then also, thank you everyone that's following over on Patreon, and like I put these on Patreon as soon as I get done with them as to where they're, scheduled over here. But you guys know that I talk to you about this all the damn time. So what don't you know? I don't know. Well, I'm still working towards getting shit together for that Comic-Con convention sci-fi thing I want to go to in November. So that's not confirmed yet, but like it's seeming like we're getting more and more close to that. I do need to raise some funds to get some shit together for that though. And one of the things I'm going to do for that is like make prints. Like when I go, I'm going to have, like books, and I got books to take. Well, not a lot of books, but I need to get some more, but we'll get there as we get there with the months going. And then like patches and stickers and shit, but then also, prints. But these prints, I've talked to you about them a bit before. before, but what the fuck am I talking about? But yeah, I'll have those at the convention. However, I'm also just gonna have them on the site. And here's the thing with them though. Any given print, whatever it is, I'm only ever gonna make 100 of them. So, you know, that keeps them, you know, limited in number or whatever. But they'll all be signed, and I'll be the one sending them to you. Now, I do have a bunch of those coming in. Well, I think they should be coming in next week or the week after. Like, I ordered them. I'm just waiting on them to get printed and shipped. But I already do have a few that, you know, I ordered as, like, you know, tests. And I'm going to go ahead and throw them up on the site now. Now, I think most of these are going to end up being about 18 by 12 by 18. Well, this is really dark on the screen. This is not that dark in real life. I don't know why it's showing you that. I mean, that one's about as bright as this one. That last one is about as bright as this one is, but I guess it's also dark in the basement, so, you know, a little hard to see on the camera. I like that dramatic mood lighting, you know. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and throw these up on the site. And then I think I'm gonna list them at about 25 bucks a pop, which I think is fair for, you know, a limited print. And that'll also cover, you know, shipping and handling and all that. So like if you get one and it's 25 bucks, it's not 25 bucks plus shipping and handling, it's just 25 bucks. Maybe taxes, but I can't help that one. Fair warning with that though. I know that there are some of you that have not read ahead, that you're not, you know, listening on Patreon here. You're just listening to these as they come out here on Patreon. And that's fine, that is okay, there's nothing wrong with that. However, I'm not going to limit the art. I'm not gonna limit the prints. The images depicted, I'm not gonna limit those to events that have only happened inside the story that's been shown on YouTube already. So if you do go and you're looking for prints, something they put on your wall, you know, help out the channel. That was really gay, I don't know why I said it like that. But you see an image of something that happens way later in the story and you're like, whoa, I don't know what that's about. I mean, you've been warned. Then again, also, like, I could kind of tell you everything that happens in these books and it won't really ruin much beforehand. I mean, kind of like if I go back and tell you, hey, the first book, it's about a Marine and a corpsman who accidentally become immortal in Iraq and they bang an alien about it. Well, one of them bangs an alien about it. That didn't really give away the story that much, you know? But still, you know, for your consideration. Anyway, those aren't on the site yet as of me making this video Tuesday morning. I'll try to get that done today. But yeah, all right, cool. Let's get to last video's comments. Crash, T2, Crash. Another wonderful chapter sewed. Aim high. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. God of War. You're a clever one, sir. It took me a moment to realize, but your references to the Iliad and the Odyssey were awesome. I couldn't help but notice the name of the first lady was Helen von Troy Menelaus. I loved it. His journey home after being at war for so long, the encounters along the way, a modern Odysseus, such a great story, can't wait to hear more. Yeah, there's a few things that, like, if I would have gone back and, like, rewritten these books, I'd have changed. One of them is I think the naming, and the last two are a little lazy, like, you know, naming her Menelaus, like, hey, dude, we'll just smack you right in the fucking face with a few things. But, you know, it's whatever. I mean, I'm glad you're digging them. But yeah, no, I was talking to Chuck, the guy that plays Doc, the other day, and, you know, we're working on the fourth one right now. We're, like, in the heat of it. But there's two things that, like, really came up. The first one is, like, I'm really glad that I started writing the Smoke Pit Fairy Tale series when I did, because I couldn't write the first one now. Like, I'm too far detached from, you know, military life. I'd probably look at it with too much, you know, rose-petaled glasses. Like, I needed to be pissed off and disgruntled, and that's, like, for that story to be good. And I'm glad I wrote it when I wrote it, you know, despite, you know, the things that I, you know, think are wrong with it. There's gonna be a part 2 to this. Oh, yeah, that's right. Also, as much as I love these early books in the Smoke Pit Fairy Tale series, I don't think that the story actually starts until the 7th book. Maybe the 6th. Like, I think that's, like, really when I hit my stride and, like, started being a better writer, or a good writer, or at least, you know, a writer where I wanted to be with it. Not to say that I don't still, you know, love these early books. You know, these are my babies. This is my work. I love it. But I personally think it starts just getting really fucking good about halfway through the series. And the way I personally look at it is, and this is the book series overall, is, you know, friggin', like the 7th, 8th, and 9th book, well, I guess the 10th, 11th, and 12th too, are like the big bulk of, like, what I really wanted to write when I started writing, right? And the first 6 books are just kind of like background lore. I don't want to say background lore, but they were all stepping stones towards what I needed to get done, you know, before I could write, you know, the story that was supposed to happen. Although that can't be completely accurate, because there is an argument to make that everything that has happened so far is all just a build up towards the 6th book. But you know what? We will talk about that again in a couple years once those books are all out on YouTube and you've had a chance to listen to them. Because if you haven't read ahead, you have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. All right. Oh, yeah, no. The other thing with that, though, is, yeah, that's why Penelope's name is Penelope. Like, her name is, her maiden name was Penelope Gina Van Ithaca. And Gina, I'm not going to fault you for not knowing that means queenly or regal. But Penelope Van Ithaca, Penelope from Ithaca or of Ithaca, Penelope Queen of Ithaca. Like, come on, dude, foreshadowing. Also, in the original script, Penelope's name was Gina, and I didn't change her name to Penelope until, I think, after I'd written the second book, because I wrote the first 2 books back to back on deployment on the bottom of Shard. But yeah, all right, cool. Next. Ken Atwood, looking forward to the next chapter already. Thank you for sharing. Well, you got it. Excuse me. John Bavis, in reference to the comment about driving across the desert, Ralph Bangold showed that desert navigation was doable, but required some serious skill and knowledge and special equipment. Normal compasses aren't accurate enough because of the iron deposit, which throw the needle off. Soft sands require sand channels and mats under inflated tires for more grip, less risk of puncture. Additional water and fuel has to be carried on the vehicle. The radiator might need an additional condenser can. There's a reason the long-range desert group in World War II had such heavily modified vehicles and cache supplies placed all across the Libya and Egypt, and train their members on extreme survival with minimum water. Yeah, desert survival is not a fucking joke. Like, you don't want to go in the desert and get stuck out there without resources. Like, even now, the only reason it's okay to go out there is because there's fucking gas stations and civilizations. If you're gonna drive through the desert in their situation, like they are in the book, they have no guarantee that there is an even other side to the desert. It could just be Mad Max all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. So yeah, in their situation, you want to stay in or around green things as much as possible. But yeah, the Bambi. I'm not impatient. I'm really not. Mostly also, I love the gruesome and kink you got in the books, but I'm selfish and would love a nice long episode of storytelling, smoke but fairy tales. Storytelling! Thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying. What do you mean by you'd like a nice long episode of storytelling? Isn't that what we're doing? I'm confused. It's alright. My brain's a fuck. My brain is full of fuck. Wordsmith, always a pleasure watching your videos. I'll be waiting for the day Hank reveals his secret to Penelope. Off topic, the ZA stands for Zuid-Afrika. It is partly to do with the Dutch influence, which formed the base of Afrikaans. Is that how you pronounce that? Afrikaans? Afrikaans. See, when I say that, I just think of Hans, because you said Dutch. So it's not Afrikaans. It's not Africans. It's Afrikaans. Hans from Africa. There's only 2 things in this world that I hate. One is people who are intolerant of other people's cultures. The other's the Dutch. Also, check out Kaiju number 8. Good anime to watch if you like Chainsaw Man, just not as wacky. Kaiju number 8's on my list. I've been watching Space Dandy, though. Almost done with that. But yeah, no, Africa's a wild fucking place. Although South Africa, when I think of Africa and the Dutch, I think of the Congo. And the Congo is nowhere near South Africa. I think you can fit like an entire North America between the Congo and South Africa. Like, Africa's fucking huge. John Bavis, will the version 2 patches be available to buy on their own? Okay, so what I'm going to do for the patches, and I've talked about this before, so like when you get the war chest, it's got the books. And, patches, or like a patch. It's a different patch for the second one, but it's over there. But I've only got like a few of these left. And after this, this patch will be discontinued. I'm not going to make more of them. It'll be a different patch that go in the war chest from then on, which is what he's talking about. Yes and no. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to order. They're not in yet, and I haven't got the number for it, but I do have the design down. I'll probably be ordering them here in the next week or 2, depending on, if these hang out or not, or if I can, stretch it till, the first when I get some stuff in the mail. Well, we'll see how many prints go out the door. But anyway, I think what I'm going to do is probably order about 150 of them and then save 150, or it's not 150, save 100 specifically to go into war chests, and then keep a few for myself to take the convention and all that. And then I'll probably put like 20 of them on the site, and then once those are gone, those are gone. But we'll see. I will let you guys know. Jarhead, is that a grunt style shirt? Yeah. I mean, they're comfortable shirts, man. And this one's for what fucking Kyle Stewart. Was an MMA fighter. I don't know what the fuck if he's doing fucking anymore. But he was in my cat platoon in 2-7 and 2008 in Afghanistan. And if you remember back from the first book, there was that character, what was his name? Was it Kyle? Yeah, it was Kyle. Blake Kyle. Yeah, that character is based off of Kyle Stewart. So,
Insider. This is from Dom the Builder. Steve seems nice and helpful. Maybe he's a 2-bit nice, yeah. I am sus. Just going to throw it out there. I'm guessing Steve is the leader of the 10 arms. I mean, the 6 rings. I mean, the half-dozen appendages, yeah? Well, I mean, you listened to today's episode. I guess that got answered. Oh, that's all the comments. Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to me rant and ramble. All right, stay tuned for next week. You're not going to want to miss that. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you in a little bit. All right, here are your bloopers. Yeah, good one.
Okay, chapter 16.
Chapter 16, take 1.
Testing. Test the mic. Talking to the box trip. Let's test this bitch.
Bang, bang, bang. Scream, scream, scream. Bang, bang, bang. Fuck you, bang, bang, bang. Scream, scream, scream. Bang, bang, bang.
From the top, chapter 16. Great.
Okay, and I'm going to do that again, but she's less cryy.
Goon, or henchman, or whoever the fuck this is.
VA's note, I don't know how to audibly make a nod, so I'm just going to nod vigorously into the microphone and see if it gets picked up. There you go.
Okay, and I'm going to do that one more time with a bit of a twist on it. Not sure what. We'll see what comes out. There we go. Oh, wait, I missed a line.